there, guys. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another episode of Celebrate Sausage. Before we begin, I just want to remind you that this series is viewer inspired, and so if you have any suggestions for sausages or salami or charcuterie projects that you would like to see on season 4, if there's a season 4, I'm kind of on the fence right now, leave them in the comment section below. We'll take a look at it. You know, things like olive loaf or gone or whatever, things like that. Just leave them in the comment section below, and we'll see if we can put together a 4th season for you next year. With that being said, let's talk about what we're going to be making in today's episode. We are going to be making a Spanish-inspired smoked goose sausage. I'm talking absolutely beautiful. Let's get into it. All right, here's what we're looking at. Now, I bought this goose about 8 months ago. It's been in my freezer, and so I figured, you know what, let's pull it out. Let's make a goose sausage, and in another video, I'll show you how to make a goose salami with everything that was remaining. And to debone this goose, we're just going to go ahead and slice it right down the spine. So we're going to start on the back side of the goose, and we're just going to fillet the meat away from the bone. Deboning a goose is incredibly easy. Just work nice and easy if you're doing this at home, and you'll notice that the meat separates from that center carcass pretty quick. Remove the wings and the legs, and there you have it. You now have a deboned goose. Now, there is a decent amount of fat on a goose and a duck at the very bottom. You don't want to get rid of that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate all that, run it through my grinder, and then render it. So what you're looking at here is all the fat from the goose, including the skin, that we've run through the grinder, and now we're just going to set it inside of a water bath. A water bath, in my opinion, is the easiest way to render goose and duck fat because we can set it to 190 degrees Fahrenheit, let it hang out in that bath for a couple of hours, and we gently render it without burning it, and it comes out absolutely amazing. And so this particular goose yielded about 1.5 quarts of lovely fat. We're going to save that for later. The gooseneck is an interesting part of the goose because you can actually pull the throat and the spine away from the skin. And so notice we're just pulling that skin up, and then we're going to chop it right at the base of the head. And in some countries, once you remove the throat and the spine, you basically have a casing in and of itself. So you can actually stuff the gooseneck with your sausage meat, cook it up, smoke it, barbecue it, however you want to do that. The presentation is incredible. I was going to do it for this video, but I thought it might be a little too extreme for YouTube, so we chose not to. Here's what we're looking at for this duck sausage. We've got a little pork shoulder. We've got some pork back fat. And then, of course, we've got our goose meat. And the majority of our meat is goose meat. I have the recipe in the description box below if you want to check it out. We're going to be running this through a number 6 grinder plate. So I'm just going to be cutting all of the meat and fat into portions that are small enough to fit into the grinder. If you have a hard time finding back fat, you can use pork belly. And what I like to shoot for this sausage is about a 30% fat content. So 20% of my fat is in back fat, 10% of my fat is in pork shoulder, but you can mix and match however you want. This is what our meat and fat now looks like. We want it under 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to pop this into the freezer, make sure it's nice and cold while we get our spices together. Let's start with some ground rosemary. Next, we're going to add some granulated garlic. I've got salt, pepper, a little Spanish hot paprika. We're also going to be adding some cayenne for heat. We've got coriander, Instacure number 1, and then finally some potato starch. Don't worry if you didn't get all that because the recipe has all the ingredients in the exact quantities you need. So let's just give that a little mix, set it to the side because it's time to grind. Our meat is partially frozen. It looks beautiful. When your meat is super cold like this, it's going to give you a very clean grind. It's going to be crumbly. Your fat's not going to smear. And that's exactly what you're looking for in a high quality sausage. Let's grind it up. That is a pretty grind right there. Nice and loose, the fat intact. It's not greasy. This is going to be amazing. Now, it's still cold, so we're going to go ahead and mix it. But if through the grinding process the temperature has increased too much, go ahead and re-chill it, bring it back down to below 32 Fahrenheit. You'll be good to go. Let's go ahead and add our spice mix. And then we're going to add a little wine. Now, this is about a 50-50 wine-water mix. You could add 100% wine, or you can lose the wine altogether and just add water or chicken stock or whatever you want. It doesn't matter too much. Let's give it a mix, and we're going to mix this until our
meat mixture takes on a tacky and sticky consistency. We should be able to grab a small handful of it, and it'll stick to the bottom of our hand when we turn our hand upside down. So let's just turn our hand upside down. Very good. That's exactly what we're looking for. That means we've extracted enough protein to create a glue-like matrix inside of our sausage meat, and it's going to give us that perfect bind. So let's go ahead and get it locked up on our stuffing horn. We're using a hog casing from the sausage maker. They've been soaking overnight in a little water with some baking soda, and we're just going to fill the inside of that casing with some of that water, which will help to lubricate it. And your casing should slide on effortlessly. Matter of fact, once your casing is on the horn, you should be able to freely move it back and forth without any problems. If you could do this, you've done it right. If not, you might want to re-lubricate your casing or reduce the size of your horn. This will greatly reduce the chance of getting a casing blowout. So let's just prick the tip so that air can come out, and very gently, we're just going to squeeze with a little bit of pressure on the end of that horn as we allow that casing to just be pushed through. The tighter I press my fingers against that casing, the fuller the casing is going to be. And we don't want it too full, otherwise it'll rupture when we go to twist it. So it does take a little bit of patience and practice to get it just right. And here I'll show you a little tip to see if you nailed it. We're now going to go ahead and link these up. I want these fairly long, so I'm just looking for a mark on my tray. And here's that little trick I was talking about. Squeeze your sausage in some random area, and if it leaves an indentation, then you've stuffed it perfectly. Congratulations. Let's go ahead and link this by twisting it 3 times away from us. I'm going to go and find that same mark on my tray, and this next link, I'm going to twist it 3 times towards me. We're going to alternate the way we twist. This third one is going to be 3 times away from me. So pinch the sausage and then give it a twist. 1, 2, 3. And then that last one, we're just going to go ahead and tie off. And by twisting your sausage this way, you're going to create nice tight links. It's going to plump up your sausage, and you're going to end up with some fat, juicy links. It's going to be great. If you notice any air pockets, go ahead and prick them out with a needle or a sausage pricker. I'm not seeing any significant air pockets in this sausage, so no need to prick, but we will be putting this into our fridge. We need the cure to work. We want those flavors to come together, and we want that casing to dry out a little bit. So the next morning, roughly 12 hours later, we're going to go ahead and begin this cooking schedule. And you can see right here, these look absolutely amazing. The casing's dried out a little bit, and it just came out of the fridge, so it's still pretty cold. So what we want to do is bring that to room temperature before we start smoking it. As this increases in temperature, it's going to have condensation on it, and that just doesn't make for a good smoked sausage. So this first step is all about drying our sausage out. That's going to hang out in there for about an hour and a half. And then we're going to start to apply smoke. I'm using a cold smoker from Smoking It to apply smoke a lot sooner than you normally would. Right now, the temperature in that box is about 125 Fahrenheit. And over the next several hours, we're going to gradually increase the temperature inside of our smoker. We're going to be applying that beautiful smoke, and we're going to cook this nice and easy until the internal temperature gets to about 145. This is our cooking schedule, and with this particular smoker from Smoking It, it automatically bumps to the next cycle once the first one is finished. So we start at 100 degrees for an hour and a half. It bumps up to 125 for another hour and a half, so on and so forth until we reach our desired cooking target. If you want info on these smokers or the cold smoker, check the description box below. 5 hours have passed, 6 hours have passed. Let's check the temperature and see where we're at. These look absolutely stunning. Our target was 145. We're at 147. I'm loving it. Let's go ahead and take them and put them in a cool water bath. We're going to leave it in there until those sausages have gone below 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're just going to set them on a rack to bloom. And blooming your sausage is all about color development. It has nothing to do with the flavor, so you can technically skip this step and your sausages will still taste amazing. I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. These sausages look pretty tasty. I mean, they are plump. I don't know how juicy they are. We'll find out in a minute, but they look juicy. We're going to let these bloom on our counter at room temperature for about 6 hours. That's going to really enhance the color. It's going to magnify that mahogany color. And when you couple this color magnification with everything else, it's just going to deliver a sausage that will blow people's minds. And that's what I'm talking about. So that's going to hang out on our counter. And this is what our finished product looks like.
We got our Spanish-style smoked goose sausage This looks absolutely incredible. Beautiful color. Incredible aroma. I mean, you're definitely picking up the smoke. You're definitely picking up those Spanish paprikas. Wow. Great looking slice. Let's just give it a bite. That is spectacular. It's not too spicy, although it is bringing a little bit of heat, and it's not too smoky, you know, so much that it overwhelms the sausage. It is absolutely perfect. Very balanced. Great texture, nice snap, super juicy. This is one good sausage, and I hope you get a chance to make it. I'm going in for round number 2. That is seriously good. What a great way to use up some goose. I'm going to get into this later, but for right now, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And if you like this video or got anything out of it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. If you're new here and you like this kind of content, take a moment and click that subscribe button and that notification bell. We're in the middle of a month-long series where we've got a brand new sausage making recipe every day this month. I don't want you to miss a single episode. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.